gents, good evening. It's such a pleasure to be here kind of chatting through the experience I recently had this evening. So more than anything, these trips are more of an opportunity for us to be able to capture the magic of a place and share it with our valued clients. So often we all travel, we've all been all over the world, and sharing your friend a picture and saying, oh, you know, this is that view that I saw, or this was that mountain that I saw. It doesn't really translate in a phone. Come on. She's got one, she's all right. So really, that's actually what this evening is about tonight, is really trying to capture the magic of a place and share it with you guys and know that it is so accessible. We cover every inch of the globe, and we're so proud of it, and it's really lovely to be able, you know, first of all to experience it. You know, I felt like I'd won the lottery when it was like, Alice, off you go, and I was thinking, yes, thank you. But more than anything, it's just actually an opportunity for us to say, this is what we've experienced, and we want you to have that too. So, without further ado, we are clicking through. So, I had the pleasure of going to Buenos Aires, then Mendoza, and then the Iguazu Falls. So, lots of videos, lots of pictures, landing in Buenos Aires.
Flame from laptop L023.
Alexa's joining in! Getting involved early. So, this first image, I just landed, I was on the tour bus, and our tour guide was telling us about the 9th of July Avenue. So it's the biggest avenue in the world. It's 16 lanes wide. It's not the greatest picture, it's just of the dashboard you can see, but actually, she was so proud of it. And I'd never even thought that in Buenos Aires was the biggest avenue, but I thought it was New York, but it is amazing. So we stayed at the beautiful Four Seasons Hotel. So I'll let the music speak for itself. I mean, these rooms were unbelievable, really. I walked in and I was thinking, what is happening?
Stop. Oh my god, the nearest telly.
It was unbelievable, really. Kind of gives you a feel as to the elegance of the Four Seasons Hotel. I mean, really. And I did have a dip in the pool. It was quick, but I did get it. So we actually had a little bit of time to kill when we first arrived. A lot of people went to the bar crazily, and I haven't done this on a trip before, but I actually went to the gym. Because I felt like I needed to just capture the gym. I was only in there about 15 minutes, but still. And then I got in the pool, which was amazing. And then we headed out on a walking tour. Oh yes, I jumped off the bus and wanted a picture with the handsome man at reception. But yes, the lobby was beautiful as well. So this was actually the dinner that we had on the last night. So we kind of went full circle. Started in Buenos Aires and then we ended Buenos Aires. But this was the Elena restaurant in the Four Seasons Hotel. It was quite a meal to finish on, really. I mean, the steak was unbelievable, the prawns were unbelievable, but yes, that was final night dinner. So we then went off on a walking tour around Buenos Aires. So we walked through markets and saw kind of the oldest, most historical buildings that there are in Buenos Aires, and such a beautiful day. We were blessed with such good weather. So it's kind of crisp. We went in October, so it's a really good time for you to go. No rain, it was just cooler. I expected it to be slightly warmer than it was, but you certainly needed a jumper, but the sun was shining, so it was beautiful. This restaurant that we stopped at was the perfect people watching restaurant. People walking by, people busking, people dancing, and actually I think our next image, yes, this is one of the oldest trees in Buenos Aires, and there are pillars holding the branches up, and people come at night and do tango underneath, which I thought was really romantic and beautiful. So this one is the oldest church in Buenos Aires, and this image on the right is actually a youth project. Every 6 months they repaint.
Sorry,
That's all right, come on in, come join us all. Hello. More people, I love it. Join us.
Thank you.
Do we have seats? Fabulous. Yeah, so this colourful building over on the right is, like I said, is a youth project, and it's repainted every 6 months. which I thought was amazing. Oh, and also seemed such a shame. It was so fascinating to see it. It's a shame that it was being painted over. But so this Recoleta Cemetery is where all of the famous historians are all buried, and the same as Evita. So she is buried here, which was fascinating as well. So we then went for dinner at the Park Hyatt Hotel. This hotel has two sections, and underneath the hotel is an art gallery. Bizarre, but so beautiful, and the same as the spa. I think there's some music on this. Oh, there is. Oh, that's fun. So there's a florist underground as well, and the most amazing art gallery. I've never seen an art gallery underground. I mean, I'm actually not the type of person to really go to an art gallery, but still, it was underground. It was underground, which was pretty cool. So one side of the hotel was like the original hotel, and then the other side of the hotel has been renovated and very, very modern. So you could kind of choose which side you would prefer to be in. See, one side's more expensive than the other, but still really beautiful to experience. And we had the most amazing dinner. Yeah, little room tour for you. I think you could catch one of my colleagues. It's very hard to get content without any other humans in it. Let me tell you. So this, ladies and gents, let me tell you, is my first experience of red wine. Yes.
And we couldn't actually believe that. She told us that.
Oh, I've had plenty of white. I've had enough white to make up for it. But I've never really been a red wine drinker. But naturally, when you go to Argentina, you're going to be trying red wine. And it's safe to say I'm a convert. So yes, this was fantastic. We also had a private chef this evening who cooked us 3 different cuts of meats. The prawns were amazing. It's safe to say I came home heavier than when I left. This was the team that I went away with, so we're lucky enough to go away with different travel agents, and we're hosted by a tour operator. So this was day 2. We then headed off to the Pink Palace, which is the famous palace where Evita gave a speech. Gave his last service before he became the Pope. And actually, when he was named the Pope, he was still in Buenos Aires, and of course people gathered on the streets, hundreds of thousands of people, and he announced, obviously in Spanish, and he was like, guys, it's just me, and everybody applauded so much. They thought it would be this really formal thing, and he was like, guys, I'm here, it's only me. Of course everybody gathered in their masses, and it was amazing to experience, and it's vast. This cathedral, but the Metropolitan Cathedral is where he gave his last service.
Guys, I'm about to break out into full musical theatre because this is the very famous building where Evita gave her speech. So yeah, behind us, known as the Pink Palace, absolutely beautiful. I really feel like I'm about to break out into full. Don't cry for me.
I can't tell you how many times people ask me to sing that song. Oh, side note, previous to this, I am a singer as well, so constantly it's like, give us a song, give us a song. Took a few glasses of wine, but I did cave in the end. More wine, as to be expected, slow-mo wine, in fact. And actually, while I noticed that, a big shout out to our fantastic marketing department who have put all of this together. As much as I point it all out and took all the pictures and videos, to put it all together takes a real talent. So that was not on my shoulders, but yeah, our marketing team is utterly brilliant. So that is them. So next we did a hotel visit of Legado Mítico. So this is a hotel very, very central, very small, boutique, family run, gives that real traditional Argentinian feel. Right in the heart of it, so it's not such a big hotel, but it does really give you that personalised feel. And also every room is personalised to a different historian, a different Argentinian historian, so that was fascinating, really nice to see. Lovely. There she is. Right, tango.
I am just getting ready for our evening of tango this evening. So, as always, very, very excited to be getting involved. Can't wait. I've literally had the best night ever. Oh my god, these dancers were just like the sexiest things.
They were just so fabulous. I couldn't take, and we were the closest table to the front, honestly. So it was really like you were part of it. It was amazing. The food was unbelievable. I did have steak again. I took a picture of the salmon, but I had steak every single day, rest assured. So yeah, it was magic. I mean, I have a real love for performing arts, so to be able to be front row seat watching where the birth of tango came about was really special. So we are off to Mendoza, where the wine continues.
Ready, round two, let's go. We've just done the most amazing wine tour at the Mil Suelos vineyard over here, and it's absolutely amazing. The magic of this place is Relive. These people are so passionate about what they do, and we have the vats behind us. We've just done a tour of the cellar downstairs, which is, I mean, just breathtaking. I've had a lot of red wine. We're about to have dessert, so yeah. Sorry, I shouldn't put that there, it's probably quite a good night, but I can't say. So yeah, can't wait to share it all with you, but this is quite a special experience, so yeah, can't wait to do all that.
There is something very special about this place when they think about how they want the grapes to get to the place. Okay? There are like 3 different moments that we pick the grapes. Very early moment where we want acidity and freshness, okay, and not that much of sugar because we're looking for a very fresh wine. Then we have this 20 days or 15 days later, we pick grapes again and we bring them all the way to this place again, so everything happens for the second time. And then the third time when we're looking for more sugar, okay, therefore like ripe fruit and more alcohol. So after all that happens, we get about 150 different samples. Please, this way. Since you have the camera, you get to go first.
Oh my god, wow.
Always, you have the camera, you go first. I'm like, great. So the Mil Suelos was fascinating. I mean, it's a family-run business. Mendoza is world-renowned for its wine and its vineyards. So we knew we'd be expecting good wine, but this place was just unbelievable. And the knowledge that these guys have. Oh, embarrassingly, I was handed a glass of wine and then I finished it before they gave the speech. And another glass of wine. There's always one. So here we had like an outside barbecue, and it was just fabulous. It was chilly. We were given blankets, and the food was fabulous. And yes, I did drink more wine here as well. Okay, so then we went straight off to the Cavas Wine Lodge where we did a wine tasting, no less. Oh, I've skipped, getting carried away. So we just had a 3-course lunch, handed glasses of wine, and then we're off to a wine tasting and a 3-course dinner. So this was a pretty so kind as well. All the people that we met at each place were so kind, so welcoming. Now this place I think really captured a lot of the real, what am I trying to say, the real flavour of Argentina. It was very traditional, had much older wood fires everywhere. You just walk in and you feel like you're just in it, you know. It was fabulous, it was so good. So downstairs they have a private wine cellar that you can hire out for dinners. You can have a cellist, however you say it. They also have a little amphitheatre where you can have tango dancers come and dance with you while you have your dinner. I mean, it was something else, really. Here she is.
Stop number 2, we are at the Cavas Wine Lodge, which is...
You can tell my eyes are a bit blurry.
And we've just been to see one of the rooms, which looks out over like a whole vast
Worse than I thought.
it's a cloudy day today, as you can kind of see behind me, but you can still see the pre-Andes, which is the oldest Andes, and then the Andes beyond is what you can see when the weather is clearer, and it's absolutely breathtaking.
So each lodge has their own little sort of plunge pool and private terrace, really, really private. Each of the lodges face a different way, so nobody is overlooking each other, which was amazing. Oh, and we had a cheese tasting as well before we just as we were starting. And also always armed with my tripod to take a good group photo, so that paid off. So this was the spa that we got to experience as well. Really botanical, beautiful. Again, more steak. It was unbelievable. Yeah, and the dessert every time. Start to main dessert. So much food, really. Okay, next day.
Good morning. We are at the Diplomatic Hotel in Mendoza. Got my glasses on today, so I've got my little tired eyes after a late night and lots of wine and steak. But just woken up to this view behind us, and that's the Andes. So yesterday we could see the pre-Andes, which is like the mountains just beneath, and then further up higher is the actual Andes. So we are off today for more wine, more steak. We're out for lunch and dinner, so it's going to be pretty similar to yesterday. So I'll post when I can, but yeah, just soaking it all up. See you later.
So we stayed at the Diplomatic Hotel, which is in the centre of, it's in the city centre of Mendoza. So really well connected. Come on.
Welcome
So,
to
Andalusia. Oh, that would be nice. No. So here we did a cooking class, which was great fun. It was fascinating. We also did a wine tasting.
Hola, buenos días.
We give him our best one.
Wow, this is beautiful.
Really elegant. So this is like a real experience kind of place. So they do have accommodation on site, which they're looking to open next year. But you can see from the array of glass on the table, I mean, it's like a wine tasting experience. So they've got vineyards on site, and then that you can do a cooking class as well. I really am not the best cook, but I gave it my best shot.
All these ingredients that you can use as usted a cerrar la empanada.
So we're about to have some of these. Our lovely chef Meg is upstairs working very hard. And we're about to have some.
Always that we made it, we are going to leave some little space, okay, to make well the clothes, okay?
Y entonces vamos a empezar de una punta, levantándola y
We're going to
cerrándola.
start with the first one. We get up and we brush.
Con lo que nos quede levantado, volvemos a hacer el cierre.
With which one that we have get up, we start to make.
Well, I would love to say that I'm cooking you the empanadas later, but I'm absolutely not.
Very
But we will be absolutely fantastic. So we have to follow this, which looks beautiful. You'll see the state of mind. So then we had a tour of the vineyard outside. Oh, goodness. More wine?
Oh my god, that's
I didn't realise that was a bottle of wine. So this area as well can be hired out for a private event space.
So we are now at Andalusia Wine Lodge. We've just done a cooking class and we're now down in the wine cellars. Check out all this.
Fabulous. Okay, so this was my before and after. It's not quite as beautiful as the demonstration. I can't say it tasted as good as everybody else. Cheers. So, we made focaccia bread. We made a aubergine dip, which was terrible. Terrible. So bad. So what they do is that, oh look at it, looks awful. So that what they do, it's really traditional for them to burn the aubergines under wood fire, burn all the skin, you peel all the skin off, and then you mash and mix the inside of the aubergine to make a dip. It was awful. Okay, I wouldn't recommend it. But it was good fun, nonetheless. I'm sure everybody else has tasted much better than mine. And I did pass, I got my certificate. Amazing. So we then headed off to the Vines, which was a site visit that we did. So here is accommodation and also a dining experience, which, I mean, some of the views here looking right out over the Andes was
I know it's not the brightest day, but
I can see them. So I would say that the previous place that we saw, which was the Cabas Wine Lodge, is slightly more private than this kind of accommodation. You can kind of see each other's terraces, but you know, they come along and they light the fire and they bring you wine, and I mean, it's still amazing. But I would say the dining experience here is really what sets it apart from other places. But it's all very traditional, it's all kept in such a traditional way, and obviously the staff are so attentive. They come along and they make sure that if there's anything extra that you need. As you can see, the rooftop terraces aren't quite as beautiful as the ones in the previous place, but I mean, on a clear day you can see the Andes, so amazing. So this is the outdoor barbecue they do. Also, I wouldn't recommend going to Argentina if you're vegetarian. Fabulous. So that was the Vines. Then we headed over to Casa de Uco. Now on the outside, again, it's not so beautiful. They don't pay as much attention to the outside as they do the inside, which is fair enough. But this was much more modern. Again, they had like a telescope area where you can look up at the Andes. You know, the pond and the pool. But the villas here were just amazing. So authentic. And guinea pigs everywhere. Everywhere. And one of the ladies on the trip had a phobia of guinea pigs. Everybody else was like, oh, they're so sweet. She goes, no, I'm not gonna. So all of these properties have spa facilities and pool facilities. So kind of whether you go in for whatever room category, you still have access to all of the facilities on site. And this was the telescope room that I was telling you about. So it's like panoramic. You can see right up, obviously on a slightly clearer day, but. Hot tub on the roof. Lots of wine and hot tub on the roof. Amazing. So then our next stop was Kaiken. Now this really was special, this place. As much as I said that everywhere's amazing, and it really was. And it's almost like, you know, you need to think of more descriptives to actually do it justice. But Kaiken was just.
So we have now arrived at Kaiken Winery. I fell asleep on the bus, was severely catching flies after cooking at lunch, and now we've just been down to the wine cellar, jumped off the bus, wrapped in a blanket, handed a glass of wine and pastry, and off we go again. Like on a trip.
Yeah.
We're drinking very good wine.
I mean, this bread was fast. I did have to bring home the rocket, which only had to consume, saving it for a special occasion. But it was 7 million litres they hold. So, yeah. It was the biggest one that we'd seen.
Available at Campbell Wines in Portsmouth.
Pardon?
It's available at Campbell Wines in Portsmouth.
Is it? Oh, you're probably there this weekend.
Thank you so much.
So in the cellar they have, going 24 hours a day, this angelic music singing to the wine. It's like a ritual that they do, which I thought was pretty cool. more wine, more steak. You know. I think we've gone into a routine now. Okay, we are off to Iguazu. This was amazing. This really was special. So the flight times I've got written up on the board, but my glasses leave me now, so I can't see. But it took about 4 hours to fly from Mendoza to Iguazu. If you take a day flight, you are flying over the Andes, and it's just, it was so good. I was staring out the window the whole time. So, something to mention before I take you to the next slide, because it was almost like a tip. Now, currency in Argentina and Mendoza is a little bit of a tricky one. I've certainly found it hard to get my head around, and she kind of didn't want to give too much certain information because they're about to have a vote and it was all going to change hugely. But really, you want to be taking, if you're going, you want to take with you US dollars and Argentinian pesos. Okay, and really, really important, because you have taxi drivers that some want US dollars and some want pesos, and you're always better to be armed with both. But she kind of gives us a bit of a rundown.
So, I just need to get my head around the currency because it's been the one thing that I've struggled to understand. So, our lovely guide Noelia is going to give some tips.
Okay, everybody, so when you come to Argentina, think about bringing cash because taking money from the ATM here is really expensive for you and it only allows you to take $40, which is like not enough money. So bear in mind to take cash. Another thing is that if you have different credit cards, the ones that give you the best exchange rate when you are here are Visa and MasterCard. So if you have an American Express, it doesn't give you such a good currency exchange as the other two brands I mentioned. And the last one, as soon as you arrive in Argentina, consult your tour guide about the exchange rates. There are different exchange rates in Argentina and you want to make sure that you can get the best. So always talk to your guide about it and she will give you the different options available for you.
Amazing. Everything we needed. Thank you.
So I think that's something really important to take away, that kind of sums up the whole of our trip, is that going to somewhere like this, you don't know what you want to see, you don't know what you want to do, you know, a guide is just so invaluable. I mean, honestly, they were so helpful. I think with the exchange rate and the currency, of course, but you know, you check into a hotel, you step outside and you go, right, well, we're going to go that way or we're going to go that way. I think having a guide is just so important because, you know, time is money. You want to absolutely soak up while you're there, and I think you can so often spend half a day just wandering around and not knowing what to do. So the guides were just, they really were unbelievable, so good. So then we arrived at the Gran Media Iguazu. So this hotel looks out directly over the Iguazu Falls. So here we got to experience the rooftop bar, but we also got to experience the suite. Now the suite in this hotel is the #1 suite. It won #1 suite in Argentina about 3 years running, and I believe still stands. It sleeps 5. It's got quarters for your security. Okay, so if you need that space, it's there. But it's the only place where you can see the falls without, completely privately. It's the only place that you can have that private experience of viewing the falls and it nobody else being able to experience what you are. So it's kind of that view, but from downstairs from the infinity pool you can kind of get a better gauge, but it really was stunning. I wish you could kind of see every ornament on every shelf, but it was amazing. Yeah, so that's kind of where it is, a barbecue terrace, and actually the bath upstairs also looks out over, so just in case you wanted a bath and a glass of wine and just look at the falls, it's there for you. Fabulous. And we had a glass of champagne when we were fabulous. So then we went out for dinner to experience the Awasi lodges. No, we didn't. I managed to get in the pool. I didn't manage to get a bit of the story behind this. So Karen and James have been to this hotel as well, and Karen is quite the photographer. So I felt I was rivaled to try and get the ultimate photo at this hotel. Now, we didn't have time when we first arrived, and on our last day, one of the other girls and I said, right, come on, we need to go and get in that pool and get a picture. I need to go home with a picture. Anyway, there'd been lightning the day before and it was cordoned off. So off we went boldly down, cozzies on, no, not getting in the pool. And so we were so glum, went to breakfast, chewed each other's ears off, thought, right, we've got half an hour before we have to go to the airport, let's go. Barricade had gone, we said, honey, let's go. Ran up to our rooms, cozzies on, went straight down and managed to jump in. But by this point, the restaurant was full of everybody having their breakfast. And then two very pasty bodies jumping in the pool. But it was worth it, because I got my picture. So, yes, that was fab. So, Awasi, I believe, is now.
Okay, so we are here at the Awasi Lodge in Iguazu. So this one isn't actually situated in the national park like the Media Hotel that we are staying in, but each lodge, there's 14 villas here, and each villa gets a personalised guide. So whatever excursions you want to do, they're basically like your personal go-to for the time that you stay here. So we are literally in the middle of the forest.
I mean, the communal area was like, I wouldn't say staying in my front room, but it's like staying in your front room, you know. It was so personal, it was so cosy. They have such big kind of relaxing areas that you don't feel like you're sat on a sofa and you're sharing it with somebody else, you know. It's really private, it's really cosy. Each lodge has their own plunge pool, and again, totally private. Nobody's overlooking you at all. So something to point out about Awasi, which is really important, and I do come to it later, but with the Iguazu National Park, if you stay at the Awasi lodges, they have an agreement with the Gran Melia that you can go early and have breakfast at the Gran Melia so that you are first into the national park. You will see later, if you don't have that, you are there with the world and his wife, quite literally, and you'll see what the stark difference between the first part of the morning when we were in before anybody else, and it was like we had the whole place to ourselves, to then half an hour later getting on the train to go to the Devil's Throat, and that is where quite literally you are elbowing people out of the way. So it really does make such a difference to your experience if you stay in either one of these places.
Today's the day. Like waking up Christmas morning, okay, it's a little bit overcast, but I'm told it's going to be clear. It's going to be clearer later, it's fine, and it's also going to be quite warm. So, I've got waterproof, swimming with Cosy, no less. Got my bike cream, which I'm going that way. Got my hats, SPF people. Got to change of clothes. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Today's the day, today's the day. Need to have a coffee. I actually really don't need to have a coffee.
This was like the peak of the trip for me. I was so excited, as you can tell, I was so excited. Now, going into the falls, we did do a boat trip later on in the afternoon, and they do give you waterproofs if you want to take them. It was so humid, you just didn't need it, and actually after doing the walk in the morning, you welcomed the rain shower that comes. I shall show you, but we headed in to the Iguazu Falls.
So because of the Devil's Throat on the right is all Argentina, and from the Devil's Throat on the left is Brazil. Brazil is short, 20% of the fall just is in Brazil. That is a reason that you will see in the travel guide, for example, how they recommend 1 day to visit the Argentinian side and half a day to visit the Brazilian side.
Okay, we are here.
So here you can see there's nobody around. I mean, literally the world and his wife. So you're going to train from one side of the national park across to the other, and this is where you see, this is the Devil's Throat, the Devil's Gorge. But you are like really weeding through people to get to the front. But it was so worth it. And it's safe, I really must also add. It is safe, and it's totally accessible. Lots of wheelchairs coming and going, and buggies coming and going. It tends to be single file one way, single file the other way. But yeah, really accessible, really safe. There's the squad. Mary doesn't look so happy, but it was really. I don't think she realised I was taking it. Yeah, she does. We've been deprived this day. This is probably the longest we've gone without one.
Okay, so there is a tip to know about the Award ceiling hotel if you stay there. Go down here, tell me.
Yes, as you can see, we are here at the David Gorge, and it's packed of people, full of people. But if you are staying at Awasi, you will be able to arrive to this point before the crowd, because they have an agreement with the Melia Hotel. You can go to the Melia Hotel very early in the morning, have breakfast there, and at 8 a.m. you will be starting the walk to here. So you will be one of the first to arrive to this place, and you will be able to show it for yourself.
Amazing. So it's just the Melia and the Award ceiling.
Yes.
And they let you in before anybody else.
Yes. You will have to just be the first to arrive to the park and start visiting.
Yes. Before everybody else that is now here.
I mean, you can see the amount of people that are there. So obviously I explained that before, but I really can't stress it enough. It makes such a difference. Oh, there she is. Oh, it was such a good day. Such a good day. Oh, we're not done.
Right, team, next stop. Road trip. Let's do this. Now this is the bit where we get wet.
Lashes were coming.
Right guys, let's do this.
We're still deceptively dry. I did have a waterproof case on, so I wouldn't recommend you just hold your phone in front of you because it will get wet. There we have it. So yeah, I mean that for me was my favourite day because I didn't actually consume any wine this day. Oh, I did it. But yeah, the boat trip was really special. I mean, it's something that you can't describe. You're heading into the falls. You've just seen them from the top, and then you're going in down the bottom. So yeah, that was amazing. So then we did the Argentinian experience. So very similar to actually what we'd done before, but with a little bit more interactive. So we're making cocktails, making empanadas, and again eating lots of steak. So then we flew back to Buenos Aires and went to see La Boca.
So guys, final day and we made it to the town of La Boca. So beautiful, so vibrant. We wasn't part of the plan, but we had a few hours to spare. Nobody wanted to sit by the pool, so we came down to the famous La Boca. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful here.
I mean, again, we were so blessed with the weather. We picked such a nice day. It wasn't part of the itinerary, and we were all saying, where are these multicoloured buildings? We need to go and see this. And it really was so special. I think we'd experienced so much of the elegant and wealthy side of Buenos Aires and Mendoza and Iguazu, of course. So it was lovely to be able to come and see this totally authentic side of Buenos Aires. So I believe.
So guys, just like that, my amazing Argentinian trip has now come to an end. We're at Buenos Aires airport and we will be heading off soon to come home. But I just want to say what an amazing, amazing time I have had, and I've had such fun sharing all of it with you guys along the way, pictures and videos and daft antics that I've gotten up to.
So yeah, I mean that's kind of to sum up my trip. I mean it's sort of a snapshot, and obviously we're taking lots of pictures and videos, but of course if you have any questions then please do ask away, or we might be doing questions at the end, but I think we're going to take a little bit of a pause now because food I believe is ready, but I hope that has sort of captured the magic of what I was lucky enough to experience. So I really hope that's inspired some of you. And of course, if it wasn't on the bucket list, and it is on the bucket list now, I mean, it wasn't for me originally. It wasn't really one of those places that I thought, oh, I really need to go there. But until you get there and experience it, it really is amazing. So I hope you enjoyed my part of this evening, and I'm very excited to hand you over. I'm going to have a glass of wine now myself. But thank you so much, guys, for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of our evening.